And we are back on Saturday at the Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show 2012, and I'm here with a really cool guy. Ever played Circus Voltaire, Theater of Magic, Tales of the Arabian Nights? John Popadiuk. John, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for taking your time.
Thanks for having me.
So, first I'd just kind of like to ask you, you're going to be giving a seminar today. Yep. I was wondering if you'd be willing to give the audience a preview of what you might be talking about.
You know, in my talks I talk a lot about kind of pinball history, how I got started. This time I'm going to spend a little more time on the paradigm of pinball, how through kind of the beginning, like since the 1800s, how certain innovations have changed pinball, kind of come into the pinball language of design. And then today we're seeing kind of that same shift in the paradigm with new technologies and things like that. So it's kind of like a real important time, and as designers, it's kind of good to pick up on that, understand it, and then try and push that and leverage it into your design work. So, and then I think it gives pinball players and fans, collectors, a little more understanding that a lot of thought goes into pinball design. It's not, you're not just kind of laying something out and then putting artwork and you're done. There's really a lot of mental kind of stuff that happens before you lay out anything, any geometry or pick a theme, things like that. So it's kind of like a little bit of how I go about things, and then sharing that with everyone so they can appreciate a little more of the work and the design work. Because it is, you know, it's a real challenge, and it's a real task on the mind.
So along those lines, you know, we love stories. We love stories about what might have gone through your mind back when you were making Circus Voltaire, Theater of Magic, Tales of Arabian Nights. Can you think of a specific story as you were trying to put those games together that maybe you haven't told, or that you could talk about, you know, that went through your head?
Yeah, all the games have stories. You know, World Cup Soccer started out as Tommy. We had the Tommy license, but we were not able to make a game. They needed it in 12 or 16 weeks to go to the premiere. And for us at Williams, it would take about 6 months. So then it got switched to World Cup, and then World Cup was the theme nobody wanted to do, none of the other designers, because soccer and pinball is very difficult to do. Theater of Magic was a little easier in a much that we were looking at themes, what would be a good theme for our audience, because it was very much a global audience. And then we had looked at games, and it was, you know, nobody's done a Magic game for, it was like 20 years since somebody had done something before. So we started that out, and we talked to David Copperfield, so it was going to be a David Copperfield game, but we're not, something happened that the deal didn't go through, so then we had to switch over to Theater of Magic. You know, and Circus Voltaire was an interesting, because it originally, we had our distributors in France, they wanted something a little more skewed to them, and so we came up, we thought Pirates would be kind of cool. This was just a little bit before Pirates of the Caribbean had come out from Disney, so we were kind of watching the trends, and then we thought Voltaire was a real interesting person from French history, and we thought, well, let's kind of mix this. So originally Circus Voltaire started out as Circus Pirates, and the idea was you were kind of shipwrecked on an island, and there's these pirates, and there's this circus troupe that kind of, it was there first, and they teach the pirates to do kind of circus stuff, so it'd be a lot of humor, and but then we kind of morphed into Circus Voltaire, and it was Circus Maximus for a while, kind of Roman gladiators and all of that, and so that would have been pretty cool too. So, but choosing the theme is real important, because you're spending so much time and money, and you have this whole team developing the game that, you know, that's really the most important first decision. You just can't put stuffing out, and doing an original theme gives you a little more leverage, because you and more creativity, because you don't have to go to a licensor on, can I do this, can I do that? You just, whatever you can invent, and so the games have more of a timeless quality, because it's not stuck in a movie from a certain summer or you know, something like that. So I enjoy doing original themes, because I think it's just, I think they're easier, and then they're more challenging for the design team.
So one question, a lot of us love humor in the games. So I'm just curious, on Tales of the Arabian Nights, who came up with the idea of the harm sneak-in?
Probably not me. No, probably Lewis, the programmer. And I think too, the games, like as a designer, you kind of start the game off, but then, you know, the programmers will start coding stuff in, and other people will come by and make suggestions. So a lot of stuff happens daily, and it gets in the game. And if it's good, it'll stay, and if it's not good, you know, you'll pull it out. So it's very much a team effort. I mean, the designer is kind of like the sheep herder, keeping everybody in line, but it's very much a lot of people contributing to the game. And,
you know, speaking of teams, obviously you have two big projects you're working on, Magic Girl and Ben Heck. Would you care to talk about the team you've put together to help you with those games?
Well, interesting. In Chicago, there's a lot of pinball people and a lot of pinball vendors that are not involved doing pinball, but they still have the same equipment or tooling. So we're going back and working with them. And on like Magic Girl, we have Rob Barry's doing our sound and music, so he did Circus Voltaire. And we have some new artists we're working with. So it's kind of like our new hybrid team. And for me, I started young in pinball, and I had older designers mentoring me. And nobody's kind of doing that anymore. There's no 25-year-old like rock star pinball designer. And so part of what we're doing is we're bringing in a lot of a younger crew, and then kind of passing that knowledge on, because we're not going to be here forever designing games. So there's a lot of kind of new names too.
So how do you find working with the younger folks? Anything you're noticing with just the way they think?
It's easy and hard. It's pinball's a real weird type of art form, and there's no one way to do it. Everybody has their own style, their own ideas. So on the owners that say bought a Magic Girl, I kind of tell them, if you kind of like the way my games have looked before, if you want some creative stuff, I tell them about my personality. Some things go fast, some things are slow. Then you're going to be happy in the project. If you want like a Steve Ritchie type game, because his games are a little different, then you're not going to be happy. So we kind of upfront give them a little more information on what to expect, and then they can come to the studio and work. They can help out. They can get involved. Some owners call a lot, some don't call very much. So it really depends. But the idea is that we're opening up the design process to come in, and then hopefully from that spur people on to say, I really like to do this more, kind of. So hopefully from that, maybe out of 10 people, maybe one person will say, I want to, I'm looking for a change, or I want to help out, or I have the skill, and kind of do it that way. But you need that passion, because it's really hard. It's like endless. There's just hundreds and hundreds of things to do all the time. It's just endless, endless, endless. And then slowly the game will starts to form, and and that helps to keep it going. But it's arduous. It's like digging a big hole. It's only for crazy people. So.
But boy, when it's done, I mean, it's so neat
to
see
done,
the masterpiece.
Everything vanishes. It's funny. All the people that aren't happy, all the pain, all of that goes away, and then you have the game. So, and I know that, but people that haven't gone through that process, they don't understand. They just think, oh, well, when is it going to be done, or what's this? And it's like, it's kind of not like that. It's not like a cake. You just put it in the oven and you're done. There's just so many things that just need all to kind of work together. So it's a real challenge. But you're right, when it comes together, and then the play field's done, and the mechanisms are finished, and you get the first cabinets in, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's a good thing. So like on Magic Girl now, I'm working on just finishing up the stainless steel trim. The game has a lot of custom stainless parts, so I'm just finishing up the back box and the lock mechanism. Real difficult things to finish, but and the parts will be in probably in about a month, and we'll bolt, and then that'll be done. But then it'll be beautiful. It'll be like but then it's off the list, and kind of go to the next thing. So you just have to keep just plugging away, and then so on the second game it should be a lot easier, because the whole system will be done, and we don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. It'll be more focused on the game. So, but that's just, if you want to make pinball, that's what you have to do. It's not easy, and it's just was part and parcel with the occupation, or I don't know. It's the baggage that comes with it. So if you want to do that, then you have to just kind of be tough. So coming to the show, I should be back working at the studio this week. I work 7 days a week, but my wife was go away, go say hi to everybody. So I'll get a little break, but when I go back tomorrow, I'll be kind of recharged, and so I feel guilty. And I can do some work here, but it's kind of, you need a break too, because we're literally working 7 days a week, just all the time. So
well, and there's a few people here I know that have ordered a Magic Girl, and so I know they're thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a compromise, but I don't really do any shows, and I get invited all over, and I cancel them all, because it's just me losing 3 days of work. It's huge, because I'll work 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, so that's over 40 hours of work or more just in a weekend, and you can get a lot of stuff done. Even if you're just cleaning the shop, putting tools back, maybe taking the garbage out, or I mean, it takes a whole day to do that. So having a couple extra days that you're not working, then when you come back on Monday, You know, you're doing the stuff that you would have done on Saturday, and then you're kind of behind. But it's okay. So it's nice to see everybody here, and I have my little table so people come and, you know, say hi. And
that's great. And last, could you just let everybody know the websites of your projects so they could go check them out?
Oh, just, our main one is pinballinventor.org, and we have a few links for things, and then we have a Facebook page, and part of what we're discussing now is Magic Girl is kind of locked down, meaning the first owners, they've kind of earned a special right to watch this develop in more of a closed environment, and on Zombie Adventureland we're just figuring out how to open that up a bit, because in Ben Heck's world, everything he does is open. He puts all his files on the internet, everything, and you know, and I'm from a different culture. We didn't do that. It was the opposite. So we're trying to find a way that works to get enough information out to show people, but then allow the owners to still have a special privilege. And that special privilege may only be for them to come to the studio and be able to work and do that, which is still pretty cool, because in pinball usually you can't do that. So it's kind of it's a real learning experience for us too, because a year ago, you know, my mind was kind of old, like the old pinball way, which was, you know, you work in your office, you make a game, you put it out on test, then it goes to distributor, and then the customer goes to the distributor and buys a game. And this way it's different. I have people calling me who are owners, you know, hey, what are you doing? Or I'm going to be in town tomorrow, or I have an idea for the game. So it's all different, but it's kind of good too, because they see how much work it is, and then also they get to see the process of creation. So when finally the games are bolting together and they're looking good, they can just have a little more appreciation for that journey to get there. And yeah, it's just difficult. So.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
Taking your time. Appreciate it. Okay. Yep. And please come today and come today and watch John's seminar, or check it out on streaming. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
So
when is Steve Ritchie's?
Steve's at 10:30. So Steve is coming up.
Watch Steve, and he might tell the Black Knight horse story, which I heard it last year. I won't say too much, but it's the greatest story. So.
So please tune in. Looking forward to having with you. We're looking forward to having you with us today, wherever you are. All right.